Welcome to the doghouse. Hope you're all having a great day. This is the greatest place in the world. Just ask me. I gotta get situated here. This is just about the riots or protests going on. You hear both ways. And this isn't a political deal here. Are they riots or are they protests? Since when does a protest, consist of people going out, breaking things, throwing rocks, and this is no way as a protest to me. Yes, if you were to say there's a bunch of people out there that they just want to protest, you're right. There's people out there trying to give their give them freedoms in this country to go out and protest, and all the more power to them. But when you look at the overall picture, that's not what's happening overall. You have people out there that are not here legally, and I want to tell you something right up front here. I have nothing against people from other countries at all. I have a sister in law, she's from El Salvador. Another sister in law was from Guatemala, ex sister in law now. My nieces and nephews have married from people from different countries. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And every one of them is welcomed in my home. I have nieces and nephews that are gay and lesbian. I don't care. They're still welcome in my home. So this isn't a prejudiced attitude here. This is just telling you what I see is going on. I just wanted to get that out of the way right up front because many will say, "Well, he's a racist." No, I'm not. Some of my relatives back in the Civil War might have been, and yes, I'm related to Jefferson Davis. I'll tell you that right now. I would have been on the other side if I was in that side or back then. I wouldn't have been fighting for him, relative or not. So, getting back to the protest or riots, you know, there's people out there just doing it to be ornery and agitators. Some of them, I know it's going to be a little bit questionable as to are some of these being paid? Are some of these guys out there being paid? Some of these people getting out there and hollering and trying to start stuff, not them that want to go protest, but these other guys. And they are so obvious because of what they're saying, how they're saying it, and how they're trying to get the crowds involved. And yeah, they really are. Since when, like the other last night, I seen this truck pull up and was giving out these $30, $40 masks. Is that just how's that happen without money being put into this? And it's money being put into it. Those that are out there fighting for one reason or another who wants to protest are getting chopped down because of what they are doing by these others. You can't go out and have, well, that obviously they are uh, paid people to go out and do this. And anybody that don't think that's happening is wrong. A good thing to get, well, I was going to say something else. A good example of this, if I'm out there, say I'm going out, me and five other people, and we can find 100 people that are not involved with us, I will be able to persuade them of what I'm doing is right. And it's a simple thing. You look even not a protest or anything else, how people can get others to follow them. And this is what you can do. So when somebody says there's paid people out there, that don't mean everyone's paid for. It's a select group trying to influence the others. You don't need everybody paid for. So when you hear paid for, all these people in their mind says this many people can't be paid for. You're right. It's only a select few that do that. You think them helmets were put in there at them riots by some poor person? Is somebody with money pushing money towards them? And this is, I mean, you can be for what ISIS doing or against, but all should be against riots. Everyone on both sides. And the governor obviously cares less. He really does. Gavin goes out there and he does very little, and the mayor does very little. And you're supposed to follow them. They're the ones that's supposed to be in the right. They care less about the people and more about their pocketbooks. They don't care who gets ran over as long as they politically come out front. Both these people are using others for political gain. And what a way to do it by not having riots. You don't want to squash the riots down if you're doing this. You want them riots going real hard and heavy. Because when you have them going hard and heavy, you're accomplishing something. I got friends that'd probably be right there with that, not the rioters, but I got friends that'd probably be out there protesting with them, and all the well to them. They have that right. We just don't have the right to start a riot. People breaking bricks and throwing it at the officers, that's not a protest, that's a riot. And why is it all the Hispanic flags are out there, which is all well and fine in one way, but you're in America and you want to push this agenda? There's something wrong with that. I've seen a couple they kind of had both. Well, that's fine, but I think even if you're from another country and come here, if you want to have your own language, which you do, you have every right to have that. You have every right that not to be taken away from you. But we still have laws in this country we need to follow. Good example of that is she was really young at the time, but her dad was in the army in Germany. And when they come here, he left. He knew it was wrong and got out of it. But when he come here, in their home, they still spoke German. But when you were out in public and that, you spoke American. That's why he come here. And people like that are more than welcome in this country. People that don't agree with 100% what we do is also welcome. And we got the right to protest. We have the right to speak out. That should not be taken away in any way, shape, or form. But a riot is not, a riot is illegal. And what happened in LA, that look how they back down all the time. I shouldn't say you should go full force, but they back down more than what should be. Then I looked at New York. They're not putting up with the crap. They don't like the idea of ISIS, but they will not put up with violence against their police officers. And they're showing it by actions. On the other hand, in California, they're showing it by words and no actions. And those protesters know that. They know that Gavin's weak and the mayor is weak, so they can get away with it more there. Yes, other times there's going to be, by the weekend, there'll be other cities and states involved. But still, you go back, some of these paid to do this. Are there people out there paid to do this? Well, yeah, there is. Only somebody with their head stuck in the sand wouldn't realize that. And all they do is hurt the people that want to go out there and give their opinion and protest. These people take it to a different level to cause conflict. And you know what that conflict does is just make more Americans mad than it does anything else. It does not help one bit. Of course, they're brain dead, some of them don't realize that. And they're going to keep doing what they're doing. And it's a shame. I mean, you have professional protesters. There's probably some of them there too. And there's been people admit that's what they do. But you do really have to decide whether you look at this as a protest or a riot. A riot is what I think is happening, especially in LA. Like I said, New York has put its foot down, and that city does not like ICE either, but they're not going tread on the law. And that's another thing, that Gavin hollering about the military and the others coming in there. Well, the military is under President Trump's control. Before that, it was under Biden's control. So that's shouldn't offend anybody. But that's just the way it works. The National Guard, by law, can be put in effect by a president. I'm not saying the army and that should be involved, but maybe that's where we're at. Maybe they have to. You don't have to like it because I wish it wouldn't even happen. If Gavin would control and the mayor control, things would be a lot better. I listened to the mayor last night. She indirectly saying she wanted the riot. She didn't right out say that, but her excuses would pile on to a riot. Not a protest, a riot. She had the right to say what she did, but let's go back, look at it, and examine what really happened there. You're going to find out she indirectly wants that riot. They want the riot. You know why? They want Trump out of office, which all well and fine. That's your opinion to have him in office or out of office. But to go in there and do what's being done right now is completely wrong. I don't care if you like the guy or hate the guy. This has to do with people's lives. And it's not put on by the President Trump or any of them. It has to do with the governor and the mayor. They are the ones that are causing the bigger problem. No, the National Guard and Army don't need called in if they would have controlled it. But they do not want to control it. They want publicity, and they're going after publicity at the cost of human beings. Think about that. That's exactly what's happening. Forget whether you're for it or against it, but look at the overall picture of what's going on. You can hate ISIS all you want. You can hate what they're doing. But what the governor's let happen is not right. All for political posture. That's all that guy's doing. He should take a hint from the mayor of New York. Take a look how he's been handling it. Yes, when it increases, it might be a little different, but he has flat out said that he's not going to let this stuff like in LA happen there. I'm not a fan of New York, but he's still doing the right thing. We can all say things. We can all say things good and bad about California and New York. And you're probably right. You'll hit on some good, you'll hit on some bad. But when you're out there and carrying on a not a protest, I wish that would have been a protest, but a riot, you're in the wrong. I I mean, there'll be some Trump derangement syndrome people out here that if this exact same thing would have been reversed and Biden would have done it, those people with that Trump derangement syndrome would have been backing Biden 100%. So this is wrong. Is what's going on is either right or wrong, regardless of who's here, or who's in office, or who's your senators, or who's your congressman. That don't matter. Right is right, wrong is wrong. You have to decide which you want to do, right or wrong. Newsom has proven he is willing to do wrong. He wants his police officers to have very little hands on and let the destruction begin. You think if they get the National Guard out of there and stop the military from coming in, that they're not going to go after the government buildings because that's exactly what they do and that's exactly what they want. Howdy, deadbeat. But it is, that's what they want. And that's wrong. If you don't believe in something, go out and protest. There's nothing wrong with that. But when protest becomes a riot, that is wrong. That should not happen. And like I said, I have friends that'd be right there protesting if they were there. And all the more power to them if they were there. But at the same time, these people would have walked away when it become a riot. See, these guys don't understand. You go after them federal buildings, and that's why Newsom don't want any military there. Let's face it. Who's going to pay for them buildings to get rebuilt? Who's it going to hurt when that happens? The American taxpayers. And that means it don't matter whether you're left, right, or in the middle. You all will pay for it. Oh, yeah, the taxpayers definitely. And they don't realize it. And then, like I said, I don't care if you're for Trump or people are for Trump or not. It comes down, it still will be the taxpayers, regardless of who's in charge. Taxes are blind when it comes to politicians. They want your money and they're going to get it. That's like I had a brother in law one time, off of this just 1 minute. My brother in law, he had a tax guy after him a couple of years, but found out that my brother in law was in the right, but he had to fight it. He told me, he goes, you know, I'd rather have the mafia after me than the tax guys. The mafia will just get rid of me. The tax guys will keep coming after me year and year and year out, regardless. He did it as a joke, but maybe that's truth in there too. Not that I'm anti-tax, paying taxes. I'm not, but it was just funny when he said that. But yeah, these guys are oblivious. Of course, them that getting paid money, and it ain't a lot of them. Like I said, it only takes a group of people to infiltrate a whole bunch of others to get them, persuade them if, to do what they want. They are modern day snake oil salesmen when they do this. It's funny though that not funny, but how many people will fall for something like that? And I see it if I want to go out, and I'm not, and I don't believe in it, but if I was going to go out, like I said earlier, I'd get maybe even a dozen paid people and have 100 or so go in where they were at, and then we'll be influenced by the five that's getting paid or 12 that's getting paid. That's because violence and negativity is a money maker. It really is. You can get money when you do this. Them helmets, they said was $36, $40 that they left there, and they was throwing them out, a lot of them, a whole bunch of them. You can't tell me these guys with kind heart give them out. Somebody paid for them, and it wasn't the protesters out there either. So there is money involved in this somewhere, somehow. Will we ever know? Generally, we don't. Any of this stuff ever happens anywhere because they're very sneaky and very abrupt of what they're doing. They know when, how, and who. Just like before, these other writers, you see bricks piled up here and there, and they've shown it, and they show it every time they have a big riot. So somebody's paying for the bricks to be there. But what a lot of these guys, and they come out, Pam Bondi said that they'll go after them. They don't care. They're going after them with all the innovative stuff they got going on. They can capture you whether you realize it or not. They already caught one guy that was definitely out there doing it and had a search warrant on his house yesterday. Haven't heard the results of it, but it was there. It's sad when we go down the road. We're willing to sacrifice so much. We're willing to do bad things for money in certain people's pockets. And that's it. The money goes into certain people's pockets and nothing else. They're walking away with the money and they're laughing to the bank, going, look at all these suckers. They ain't got a clue. They'll follow anything. And they do. They'll follow anything, anytime, anywhere. And that is sad. It is sad when a governor doesn't want peace. He wants violence. And he said, and he's very good at reflecting. Newsom's very good at reflecting. When he said that Trump wanted violence, that's wrong. It's him that wants the violence. He wants to be president. And he don't care who he sacrifices to get that job because he's going to do it. He don't care how many people's out there he destroys, but he's going to destroy them to get what he wants. And don't think for a minute that ain't the case. Otherwise, he'd be more like the ones in New York at the moment, standing up to him. And when arrests are needed made, arrests are being made. Eventually, LA's going to have to do the exact same thing. They're out there in the forefront, so they might as well do what's right now. I think it's sad when you have to move the military in, but I do believe it's necessary. It's just sad. We shouldn't have to do that in our country at all. But guess what? You, Gavin, you forced the hand of the president. It is on you, not the president. And I don't care if it's Biden or Trump, it's still on you. All of this is for your personal gain. And there's others involved for other reasons, other than the legitimate protesters. And there's a lot of them. When it's all said and done, you're going to find out a lot of these protesters are here illegally. Isn't that an oxymoron? They want to come to a better life. They're willing to cross the border illegally to have a better life. Then they want the violence after they get here. Isn't that strange how that works? And it's going to work that way all the time. That is because Gavin and that so called mayor has no backbone. All they see dollar signs. They care less about whether them people are legal or illegal. They just see what they can have in their own pockets. That's it. They care less about anything else or anybody else. They don't care you, the taxpayers, paying for it in the end. They care less about that. Of course, California is kind of in, they're deep into things anyway. But they don't. They don't care. They don't care about anything except the money. And that's a shame. It really is. And I don't care left, right, or in the middle. When the, when you decide money is more important than a person, you have a problem. You have a very big problem. And you know how to handle it, but you do not want to because of the money. Isn't it a shame how we have gotten into the society where all we need to do is make money, forget about everything else? And believe me, the only reason Gavin didn't stop this sooner, I mean, he couldn't 100% stop it, but he could have slowed it down if he wanted to. He could tell his police officers they need to make more arrests. Pam Bondi said that there is going to be more arrests because what a lot of people don't realize, when you hit an officer, I don't care if it's a local or federal, the feds can step in and charge that person by law. And that's what's going to happen. I wish it didn't happen. I wish we didn't have to have the military there at all. But what choice do you have when you have a governor and a mayor that refuses to do anything? Just go out, make yourself present. Don't do anything else. Well, it's come to the point they're going to have to change their philosophy. They really are. They're going to have to decide what's good, what is not. You know, you got to put the money aside and think of the people. See, here you go again. He's out there saying he's doing this for the people. He's the mayor saying we got to protect our people, protect our people. His big mouth is moving, and yet he's doing nothing to protect the people. And this isn't because he's a Democrat. I know a lot of Republicans would be right on there with him. So this has nothing to do with a political view. It has to do with what is happening now. And I don't care what party you think you are, this is still wrong. And eventually, what's going to happen, and maybe this is the intent, there's going to be harm done to people that have nothing to do with this. You're already seeing convoys going to different places that are totally opposite of the rioters. And you know what that's going to mean? Of course, they'll blame Trump. Well, it could have been stopped by who? Newsom. Just take a look. Go back and look what New York's doing compared to California. Who's doing a better job of controlling things? It's New York. And I'm not a New York fan by any means. Never been there and I never want to go there. But just think about it. You have people that know how to handle it and people don't. Then you have to look at why would one want to do it, not the other. Well, Newsom wants to be president, and he thinks this is a good political ploy for him. And like I said, he don't care about the illegals. He don't care about the citizens of this country. As long as you vote for him, that's all he cares about. He does not care about one other thing. He really don't. And like I said, I've seen Republicans do the exact same thing. So this is what I'm saying. This is not a political view of one party or the other. This is saying what should be done. You can hate Trump, you can like Trump, you can hate Biden, you can like Biden. It did not matter. It does not matter. I don't care what policy you like. When it is a riot, it is wrong, regardless. And a lot of people are starting to see this. And a lot of people are saying, wait a minute, this is wrong. This is not being handled right. And like I said, it's not Trump's fault the military's there or the other National Guard there, excuse me. The National Guard there is because of one person or two people in this case, where if they did what they're supposed to do and curbed it right at the start, this would not happen. That is not Trump's fault. It's just not. And every individual out there, too, has to take responsibility for themselves. Newsom didn't twist your arm to go out there. Trump didn't twist your arm to go out there to fight for or against. You made that decision yourself. You can say Newsom facilitated it, which he really did. That's one thing. But you still have to take responsibility for what you are doing. And if you're out there doing it, some people are out there just for pictures and views and crap like that. They care less too. That's the people out there. It's a shame that the ones that went out there to do, and I disagree with them, but it's a shame they're going out there and not having their voices heard over the rioters. I personally think there's a right way and a wrong way to come here. Every one of my relatives that's come here has done it legally, so I know it can be done right. That's all I had to say. Have a great day.